Welcome.
Hey.
All right. Hello. Welcome to the Roland's Reviews YouTube channel, backed by popular demand. All right. The brutally honest talk radio show. We've had him on before. We've talked about, we have a lot of the same sentiments as it relates to political conversations. Okay. So let's welcome, let's spam the chat comment section with hearts. Let's welcome Elmo of the Brutally Honest talk radio show. Everyone's saying hello. How you doing, Ronald, James, Cha-Cha, Florida, C. Fryer, Andrew, Information Man. Everyone is filling up the chat section. Hello. As you enter the chat room, please go ahead, hit that little thumb, that like button. Those of you who have Truth Social and other various forms of social media, please go ahead and share this video out. How you doing, Laurie? Jacqueline? Let's share this out so that we can bring some more people into the conversation. Let's look at the title so we can get the fire starter going here. Black man says that Democrats are done, Biden to be replaced. Now, we've already talked about what's going on and what's been happening since the debate. And of course, the Democrats are making all kinds of excuses. We've heard it all. So let's see what Elmo has to say about the debate. So first question, what did you think about the debate so far as it relates to Biden's physical as well as mental deterioration? How you doing, Peter? What do you think about that, Elmo?
Hey, yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on the show again. And so to answer your question, this was like a darker shade of the same color. Every week I see Biden exhibiting that type of behavior and those kinds of problems and the way that he was during the debate. So I understand that they did have a drug test for both of them before the debate, and you could see the difference. You clearly see a difference. Now, it's a strange thing. Once in a while, Biden is fine. Once in a while, he seems to be having energy and his voice being clear. And as far as I'm concerned, this is without that Adderall cocktail or whatever they juiced up to make him feel good and give him strength and help him to have cognitive focus and whatnot. This is without that. But I see him different variations of how he was during the debate. I see him behaving in that way every week.
Yeah.
Every week. So typical Biden.
Typical. Yeah. And again, we've talked about that. We've discussed that on this show. We know there's been a lot of research conducted on drugs for dementia, for memory, Alzheimer's, a lot of research in that area, lots of new medications. So again, he can talk all right for a very short period of time, and then he just goes off the rails. And then that's when they pull the plug on him. Okay. And then they make up all kinds of wild excuses. James said drugs can't help him, in my opinion. All right. And so that's just where we are. And it's obvious with anyone who has two eyeballs that work, two ears that are working properly, there's been a serious cognitive decline as well as physical decline. And why everyone was shocked, and the Democrats, CNN and MSNBC, they just lost it. They lost their stuff. And I'm like, you guys have been lying to the American people all this time. And now they have people coming out that say, when he first went into office, it was going on then. But of course, it was well hidden. So this has been ongoing. So he's been deteriorating. And you can only hide for so long. So you can say, "Oh, I was sick or I didn't feel well," and I think now he's saying he's going to start going to bed at 8 o'clock or something like that. So yeah. What if there's a major crisis and you're in the bed? Come on. And so Cha says they're already calling for Kamala to replace Biden. Cha, she's even more unpopular. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on her and all the horrible things she did and when she was AG in California, and all of the people who are incarcerated, uh, as a result of her actions. So she can run if she wants to. Only people with less than 2 brain cells are actually going to vote for her, because she's a horrible person. She really is. And what we're hearing, and I think with Biden looking so fragile, people were thinking, the Democrats, of course, they all came together. Hey, we'll go and encourage him to step down. Okay, he'll do it. He's fragile. He's saying no. He is vehemently against stepping down. He's saying he's not going anywhere. So this is sort of throwing them off. And so they're going to have to do something else. So Elmo, tell me, what do you think, given everything that's going on? Do you think that they're going to, how you doing, Modalis? Do you think they're going to try to come in with some rules, which is typical of the Democratic Party, to remove him? What do you think? What do you expect?
Well, you mentioned a few different things, so I want to address them kind of in order. First, with his physical condition, one example is after the debate, his wife has to help him down the steps and off the stage. There was a wide shot. You're not gonna see this on MSNBC and CNN. They're editing your news. No. If those are your main news sources, they're editing, because they've said this. They've said this, that they don't want it to make people go to Trump, so they want to show Biden in the best light possible. So his wife has to lead him around by the nose, basically. We saw some of us, like later that night or the next day, his wife is talking to him like a child. You answered every question. You're a good little boy. Yay, Joey. And the whole time Biden's looking like, hey, did I?
He probably didn't know what she was saying. Yeah.
So
half the time he looks dazed and confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sad down. Again. He is
falling down more than any president that I've seen, right? So,
and he needs to be receiving care in a facility, not being propped up. This is a pretty grueling schedule. When you're running for president, hey, he needs to be somewhere relaxing, and they're propping him up like he's A-okay, and he's not. We know that. How you doing, Douglas? How do Black folks buy booze, legal guns, get through TSA, or get a U.S. passport? Okay, and so again, and I've been looking at videos. How you doing, Cat Mama? I've been watching videos, and we still have all these people. Oh, and if you were, I don't know if you watched the video I did yesterday with Joy Reed. I don't care, Joyless Reed. I don't care if Biden's in a coma. I'm still voting for him. So that vote blew.
She just summed it up right there. She just summed it up.
It's crazy to me. You're voting against your own self-interest. Cha said, no, that is not true, Roland. He understood when Jill offered him ice cream. Cha knows about that ice cream. That's right,
Cha. He knows all the flavors.
Douglas, I'm taking over voter ID, and I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Good. How you doing, Diane? Hi, Roland. We need a candidate who can get this country back on track. This is difficult, but not impossible. Thank you for keeping us informed. No problem, Diane. That's why I bring on intelligent people like Elmo on here, like-minded people who really understand what is going on in this country. Jacqueline said it earlier, so I'm going to say that to you, Elmo. She said, it seems in the Democratic Party, there's a bit of a coup attempt, a civil war. Where do you think that's going to lead?
So what I think is going to happen is the Democrats, the head of the party, will want to take Biden out, and he should have already been
Yeah.
gone, but they're not taking him out because they care about the country and the
Yes.
leadership. They want to continue to hold power, and they know that he can't win if he stays in there. And like you said, after the debate,
Right.
Biden said, I'm well enough to go another 4 years. I'm going to stay in. And then he goes to Camp David or somewhere where the rest of his family goes, yeah, yeah, Grandpa Biden, go. We want him to keep going. His family is pushing him. They want him to be in that office. So the
Yeah.
Democrats, they want him to step down now. You see Gavin Newsom salivating on the side. You know, he's looking at that position like maybe this can be me. But because he is already presiding, they can't oust him. So they would have to use, I think, the 25th Amendment to come against him to get him to step
Right.
down. Because now they
Yeah.
created a
Because he's not
monster.
going.
They created a Frankenstein.
Right.
Now he's there,
That's
he's
what
in
I'm
that
noticing.
position. No.
Yeah, we're looking at him like he's just going to be like, okay. No, he said, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So they're going to have to, like you said, 25th Amendment. He said it. And his wife, Jill, is so obvious. She wants power so much. She's putting power over her husband's health. That's what it
Right.
appears like to me. And so Greasy Gavin, I don't know why he
Mhm.
thinks he can run. He's very unpopular. People are fleeing
Yeah.
California in droves because they can't afford to
Yeah.
live there. It's horrible.
Right. But
So
the
that's
the
another
Democrat
win.
the Democrat Party is a party of identity politics. So they look
Yes.
at Gavin Newsom as a guy who's young, strong, handsome, a smooth talker. He can look you right in the eye and
Right.
gaslight without blinking. That's what they want. And there are people who would vote for him and follow for that reason. So he would
Right.
he would not be a good president. And California is in a mess. San Francisco is one of the worst examples. But
Oh
he,
yeah.
he doesn't.
Oh
I
sure.
never see him talking about that. But that's what
Right.
would have to happen. And whatever due process needs to go down, the election is less than 6 months away. So if they want to throw a 25th Amendment article at him and try to pull him out, they're going to have to get that ball rolling very soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're desperate at this point. They're looking at the same polls that we've been looking at. And remember now, because Elmo, you and I have been talking on the telephone, and this is nothing new to those of us on this channel and several of the channels that we watch. We've known this. They're just now coming to this realization, and now they're all in shock. We've been saying this from what were they saying a few months before? Oh, don't believe those polls. Da 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 da. So they're the ones. How you doing, Barnes Homestead, California? Yes, Jackie. California is an s-hole. It is, and that's why people are leaving there in droves.
Right.
And so Cha Cha says, Elmo, if they bypass Kamala, then they will lose whatever is left of the black female voters. Right, Cha Cha. So they're gonna pull a card. But again, Cha Cha, there are a lot of people, Black Americans. They are waking up. They're learning about. I'm going to do a video on Miss Kamala Harris. I looked at a few videos on her, and
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of people are waking up. She is not for you. She is not Black American. She says she's Black when it's convenient. She's not going to do
Yeah.
anything. Why are you voting for someone? You're wasting your time. The Couch 2024 is going to be your best bet instead of voting for her.
No.
Okay? All she's going to do is cackle, cackle, cackle. And say, and she uses a bunch of words and you don't know what she's saying. So
Yeah.
everything
Right.
we've been talking about with the Black Americans leaving the Democratic plantation. Yes, yes, yes. A great time to be an American. Now, Elmo, what are your thoughts with everything you've heard, with everything that you know we've talked about? Do you
Mhm.
think that everything that's taking place in this country at this time is enough to release the demonic stronghold that the Democratic Party has had on Black Americans for 60 plus years? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's finally over? I think it is. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's completely over, but I believe a much bigger chunk is going to break off from that stronghold,
Yeah.
partly with Trump, because Trump got an amazing amount of support after his conviction.
Mhm.
So understand there's a
Right.
war on both sides of these parties. They both are going after the acquisition of power. The Democrats wanted to be able to say that term convicted felon, and we're going to hear that a lot
Right.
from now until
Right.
then. So it makes sense with the Republicans are going to show so many clips. I mean, Jon Stewart from The Daily Show, he's talking about what an
Yep.
idiot Biden is and what are we doing and what's going on. Now you still
Yeah.
got people like Rachel Madcow that's holding on for dear life
Mad
that
cow.
don't want to admit it. She can only see the reflection of her own glasses. She can't see no further than that. So you see
Yep.
people coming
X.
around and saying this. And so sometimes all you have to do is give somebody some rope and they'll hang themselves. This guy was on Bill
Exactly.
Maher's show talking about the debate. And when Biden had that serious slowdown and stutter, and he forgot his train of thought in the middle of the sentence, and then he said, "Look, I beat Medicare," you know. So this guy that was on his
Yeah.
show
Like, what are you
said,
talking
he said, "Well, did you?" Because they had a split screen. They said, "Did you see the way that Trump turned his head and looked at him?" And it's like, so you're blaming
about? Oh
Trump
yeah.
for that, for the way he talked, the way he reacted? It's like, no, you. All he did was look at him. He didn't say anything. I mean, come on, he's come a long way from
Nope.
interrupting him and how he's been in debates.
Yeah.
So that's all they
I
have to
think
do
his
for,
team
for,
told
for
him.
the judge.
Yeah. I really believe because you could tell that Trump wanted to light him up. I really feel,
Right.
now I could be wrong. I feel Trump's team told him, say very little because most Americans, even Democrats, some are even saying, okay, yeah, there may be some cognitive decline.
Mhm.
Conservatives, we already know the situation. Now,
Yeah.
I think that they said if you jump on him like that, you're going to receive a backlash
Yeah.
because this man has cognitive issues. So I mean, but I laughed the entire debate because Trump was looking at him. Boy, he was giving those looks, and I just couldn't contain myself. I just kept laughing. I could not control it. And I was laughing
Yeah.
at those looks because you could tell he wanted to light him up, but he was restraining himself. You understand?
Yeah.
And I loved
I
it.
think he's
um
been coached by
Douglas,
by his team somewhat in a positive way for moments like
right,
that to hold back. And yeah, so Trump, he's basically reacting and looking at him like the rest of America is, trying to understand what are you getting to, what are you saying? And then the liars that
right.
would come out from the Democrat Party the next day and say Biden had a bad night. What are you talking about?
Oh,
He's been doing this every week. He's been doing this every week. There's
yep.
a reason why the last 6 weeks before the election, you didn't see Biden. They were hiding him. Some
No.
people say hiding him in the basement.
Yeah. Right. And this is what they've been doing.
I don't
And
know if he was in the basement. They're clearly hiding him. I haven't seen one Biden rally since before the election or since. They don't trust him to be out
right.
there, in a big
They
excitable
don't.
crowd.
All they do, and that sound was from when he was on stage and he had a little he had a little wind. So yeah, you heard that, you remember that. That was hilarious. So
Yeah.
and then his wife, of course, ran up on the stage and grabbed him so to go change, I
Right.
guess, his nappy or whatever. But again, you can only run and hide for so long. Eventually you have to come out.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
where are we here? Guys, if I miss your comments, they're coming fast. I can't keep up. Douglas Lindsay says governor, he calls him handsome, allows Mexico to dump tons of raw sewage to be dumped into the TJ River, which ends up on California beaches. Governor Handsome has some power to make Mexico comply with California clean water standards. We already know Newsom, he's not, he's worthless. Hashtag walk away. If you guys, I see that Barnes Homestead, thank you for typing that in the comment section. If you guys aren't familiar with that, that's people who are walking away from the Democratic Party. So if you come here on YouTube or TikTok, wherever, and type in hashtag walk away, you'll see people giving their stories. It's pretty good. I love it. Douglas also says, I still can't find a Democrat who can explain what democracy means to them and the Democratic National Committee. And where are we here? Mr. Fitz, so glad you could make it. Andrew, where are we here? Not talking was the best thing Trump has done in this. Right? Yeah, James, that's what Elmo was just referencing. He doesn't have to say much. Just sit back and let him destroy himself. And that's what he did. There's no need for him to say anything except when they're asking him questions. He can answer the question and then just let him. Biden floundered on his own. And so Isaiah said, I predict it will be Kamala Harris. Don't she's not going to win. No, heck no. That will never happen. I mean, we will have a revolt. I'll be out there leading the charge. How you doing, Matt Fury? That is all the poll that anyone needs. Okay. And again, Isaiah and all of you who've been here for a while, I am going to do a video on Kamala, and the truth is finally, they've tried to hide it, but the truth is coming out on Kamala and all the horrible things that she did when she was in California. And all we can do is share this with people, whether they, believe it or not. You know me, I share links, I share videos. This is not made up. Yeah, Kamala, the border czar. She's supposed to be taking care of the border. If she runs, look at what's going on at the border. Could you imagine her running this country? Oh, get out of here. Oh my, I would pack up and leave, Elmo. I would.
This is what the Democrats. This is what the Democrats do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the Democrats, they're into show and making things look a certain way. So whenever I hear a city or a mayor say we have a special drug czar appointed to this problem, whenever I hear that word, which is like some kind of a Roman ruler, like Nero or something, I know that's just for show.
Right.
So Kamala Harris, she was supposed to be in charge of the border, but they tied her hands. She's a puppet, just like Biden. And so they're stage actors. They go where the Democrats are telling them to go. And y'all know, I think less than a year after they got in office, it was such a mess at the border that Kamala made this speech where she said, don't come to the border. Don't come here. It's a mess. In other words, we made a mistake. We were wrong. We shouldn't have been telling you that. It's a mess. But they offered her that job. They came to her not because she was the best running mate for Biden. Elizabeth Warren would have been better.
Right.
Bloomberg would have been a better president. But because Biden was Obama's wingman, off of the strength of Obama, they wanted to get him in there. Nobody was excited about Biden or anything he said, and could tell you why he was the best candidate.
Right.
So Kamala Harris, because she's a woman and because she's Black, they came to her because that's all they care about. They don't care about being qualified.
They sold that she was. If people would just go and look at, she's not Black American. She's of Indian descent, Indian and Jamaican, but no one wants to read anymore, right? They just the mainstream media sells a story and they take it and run.
When she first got elected to the Senate, they had this thing where they were celebrating her as the first Indian in the Senate.
Right.
Didn't mention Black at all. So as the first Indian, because that's what matters. Let's as many races, appeal to as many groups as possible.
Right.
And so that's kind of the difference between conservatives and liberals. Conservatives care more about what are you going to do, for the most part. I mean, some liberals do too. Just that the things that liberals want done can be really ridiculous or dreamy or involve raising a lot of taxes.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Question for you. Hold on. Everyone who's here, please go ahead and hit that little thumb. That is the like button. Share this on your various forms of social media. Elmo, tell me about this. Now, we've talked about CNN. We've talked about MSNBC. And of course, we know the narrative that they push, the liberal narrative, the liberal Marxist, socialist, communist narrative. Now, they're supposed to be all up on top of the diversity and inclusion, right?
Yeah.
The DEI. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. How you doing underground? Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Before, prior to the debate, if you guys are familiar with this, type in the comment section. CNN, of all the news sources, they denied Black media outlets the credentials to cover the debate between Biden and Trump. However, were you familiar with that, Elmo?
No, Black media
You
sources, like which
The
ones, for
Black
example?
media outlets that wanted to
Hmm.
cover the debate, they were
Yeah.
told no. They allowed
No.
people from other countries. People from other countries received credentials.
Yeah.
So, but they're supposed to be all on this DEI, diversity,
Right.
equity, and inclusion. So again,
Right.
say one thing, do another. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, thank you, Florida. You can Google it. I'm not making this up. And so because I was, it's even on Roland Martin's, and he's one of the biggest plants and puppets. He was talking about it and on his show, and he said, "Well, I reached out to CNN, and they told me why." Da 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 da. No, get out of here. Thank you so much for sending that to True Social. Douglas Lindsay, wow, thank you for the super chat, dear. Ricardo Lopez Mungia was the only non-citizen in California who Attorney General Harris prosecuted during her entire tenure as California's AG. California has over 2 million fake Social Security numbers, but Harris only found one illegal who voted. Harris really was not looking for non-citizens who voted. Douglas Lindsay gets it. He knows. Oh, that's $50 super chat. Woo! Spam the comment section with hearts for Douglas Lindsay, folks. Thank you, dear. And so, again, if you guys are familiar with that, let me know. Why CNN? What happened to the diversity, equity, and the inclusion? Were you familiar with
Yeah.
that, Elmo?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It is a utopian fantasy goal to say we're gonna have diversity, we're gonna have every race in the country with an equal amount of every race, we're gonna include everyone. This isn't even honest or realistic because everybody listening to this live chat right now, there's no race that you can name that you let everybody within that race into your house or into your social circle or into your network. When it comes down to a one-on-one personal basis, we judge people by who they are, basically the content of their character.
Right.
So as soon as you put this thing out there going, we're the party of diversity, equity, and inclusion, then some people started pushing for equity of outcome. Like Al Sharpton said, he's one of my
Right.
favorite socialists. He said, I want everybody on my block to have the same stuff in their house. Go ahead. I'll give you a second. You need to address anything?
Why? Okay, if that's what he really
Yeah.
wants, he has millions of dollars. He's a plant and a puppet, and has been for
Oh,
years.
yeah.
So why don't? Hey, if he's so into diversity, equity, and inclusion, share the wealth. Start passing
Right.
out some of those millions that you have. He's not going to do
Right. He
that.
got the biggest loaf of
Um,
bread. So let's start slicing his first. I'll
right,
butter it
that
personally.
part.
Come on.
Uh, right, and if you talk about with the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and again, I told you I'm an avid follower of Thomas Sowell. When I get time, when I retire, I guess I'll read all his books. And he said, you're supposed to choose the best person for the job.
Right.
Why, instead of being all inclusive, right?
Right.
Choose the best person for the job. That's what you're supposed to do. But of course, we know. I think that diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that stuff is coming to an end. Thank goodness. Okay. And you look at these people who make millions of dollars going around to all these businesses, telling them, to have diversity, to have equity, to have inclusion. And that really caused a lot of divisiveness.
Yeah. Right.
As it relates to the, races. And again, I talk to people at my job, I'm like, we all get along just fine. And then you have someone coming in here, well, now you got to treat this person this way and that way. That causes, to me, more divisiveness. Now, tell me what you think about this mantra. I think I have a clue. But what about these people who also watch the debate, who have seen the horror that's going on down at the border and the crimes that a lot of the illegal immigrants are committing, who have seen their tax dollars being spent on non-citizens as citizens, American citizens are homeless, who can't feed their families, who can't pay rent, but they still have the mantra. What is your view on vote blue no matter who?
Yeah, it's a kind of brainwashing and indoctrination.
Yep. Yep.
This is what I've been telling people of lately is that the Democrats, they did a very good job of convincing some people, including blacks, that they're family. We're
Right.
family. So when someone in your family commits a crime, you're a little more lenient of them and understanding. And you say,
Right.
well, that's okay. That's okay. So and so made a mistake. But I know that they mean well.
Right.
I know that they're good. And so that's what we
Right.
do. Some people from the beginning, they got their priorities out of order. And so they assign themselves to team Democrat or Libertarian or Republican or whatever it is, and say within
Right.
that group now, this is my team, and we got to win. No matter what. When your team
Right.
is on the field and they do something dirty, you're not going to call it to attention to the ref. You're going to turn your head
Right.
and look the other way because you want your team to win. This is why the best referee or the best sports commentator, they can't care who wins. They have to be honest and just report on the truth for
Right.
whoever. So they're fans on both sides. But so yeah, there are people who are
Okay.
blue no matter who. And again, you got the swing voters, and there are people who are red. I haven't seen Republicans who are like this, but it's a different group. The Republicans haven't been doing what the Democrats have done.
Right.
But
That's what I
like
said.
I appreciate the honesty. Like when Trump first got in there were a lot of Republicans that didn't like him.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
let it come out. Let it come out. I mean, we're part of the same party, but other Republicans debated against him, whatever, and there were some who were in politics for 10, 15 years,
Yeah.
and they felt like Trump cut in front of the line with no experience in politics, and they were wanting to get that position or wanting to be next in line. So
Yeah.
that happens, but you gotta appreciate, you gotta know, everybody knows whoever they like or whoever they want to vote for. When you see
Right.
Trump say something, nobody's telling him to say what he says. It's really
Right.
what he thinks that's coming out of his mouth.
Right. That's a good point. What do you attribute? Now we've talked about it here on this channel a lot. When you look at him being able to garner a large portion, you have all these Black Americans who have traditionally voted for Democrats. And what do you think about this changing of the guard, if you will, where I call it an awakening, where people are waking up saying, wait a minute, this isn't right. And
Mhm.
what do you attribute this awakening to?
Well, the current administration, the current presidency, these two guys are so opposite. First of all, everyone who's
Right.
paying attention and saw what happened to Trump saw that this was a witch hunt going after him, trying to take him down. They impeached him
Right.
twice when he was president.
Right.
I don't think they could have put him on trial as president. So they, you know, over 90 indictments and bringing up stuff related to Stormy Daniels, was this came out 2016 when he was running against Hillary. It came out. And so
Right.
people
Right.
see that. So he got the sympathy of there are black people who feel taken advantage of by the system and who are victims of injustice or the way the justice system is set up. And so they have related to
Right.
this and what happened to them. So that
Right.
definitely backfired. And then looking at Biden and just the things he's done and said since he's been in there, and with the internet
Oh
having
yeah.
its negatives and its downfalls, people have been able to see all these different things that he's said and done. And then sometimes we see an old clip from way back in the day. We see him on the floor of the Congress saying that he doesn't want his wife and mother to live in a racial jungle.
Yeah.
So we need to make stronger the penalties for criminals. And I'm against integration. I don't want them coming in
Yep.
here. I don't I
He's
don't want I
down.
don't want race mixing. I bet you both. I bet you
Right.
most black people don't know that Joe Biden gave a eulogy at a Klan member's funeral. I bet you most black people don't know that because MSNBC and CNN aren't going to show you that. They're trying to
No. No.
guide and
God no.
steer the outcome. And by the
You're
way,
right.
that Klan member was a Democrat. What a surprise. Senator Robert Byrd. They're not going to tell you that. Also
I did a video on this.
The Democrats are only going to go to the black church. Why don't they go to a Catholic church and a Protestant and a Methodist since they're okay with mixing politics and religion? Why are they welcomed?
Right.
I mean, it's like you better
Right.
don't leave the door open. You better take the door off the hinges when you see this motorcade pull up and let us in.
Right.
We gonna come in on a Sunday morning and talk about everything but Jesus.
That part I don't know if you watched the video I did yesterday. That's what I was talking about. Speaking of that,
Yeah,
Biden
right.
was at a black church this morning. So remember I did a video. They got so upset that traditionally Republicans don't do that. Trump went to that church in Detroit and they just lost their minds. Like what? Because they feel the Democrats feel entitled. That's our territory.
Yeah,
What's he
right.
doing there? But
Right.
those people in Detroit were so happy to see him.
Mhm.
And so they didn't like that at all. And like you said, what can we do when you have this truth on this guy? I did a video on all the racist things he's done and said for the past almost 50 years.
Yeah.
Why won't people, instead of, well, Trump said this and Trump said that, here's a guy that's been saying and doing things for almost 50 years, but why does he get a pass? Why is there a double standard? Why?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's because of being a Democrat. And the first time that many people ever saw him was side by side with Obama. Okay, well he wouldn't work with a black man unless he liked black people or was cool with us. And Obama don't even like Biden.
No.
Obama endorsed Mike Bloomberg for president.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
like that's like if Scottie Pippen ran for president and instead of Jordan endorsing Pippen, he endorses Magic.
Oh wow.
And these guys been working together side by side, literally for
Yep.
for years. You
Yep.
know,
But it's all about power.
yeah, yeah. And then when
As
there when
long
there
as
were
they can
no
keep
more,
that
Mhm.
power.
Yeah, when there were no more
And
left, when there
you
were no
know,
more candidates left, the Democrats twisted Obama's arm and they said, "Come on, can you please put in a good word?" But you never saw Obama and Biden in a commercial together. There's no recent footage of them. The only recent footage that I've seen of them is they were at some party and Obama was moving through the crowd, and Biden was tapping him on the shoulder, and Obama was ignoring him while he was going through the crowd shaking everybody else's hand.
right, right.
So he knows something we don't know. But
Yeah.
we see if you go back and look a little, you see the kind of person he is.
Yeah. And then they were at some function on stage. Obama had to go get him off stage. He took him by the arm, like, he was his grandfather or something, to take him off stage. And so again, that's just where we are with that. HM says we legal immigrants are done with Democrats. Okay, thank goodness. Oh yeah. James says, Elmo, I'm in Brooklyn. Please don't mention Bloomberg. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah.
I know what he did with your drinks. When he tried to cancel sugary drinks.
Oh yeah.
Because people they can't think for themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And the Democrats, they had him. He was the good billionaire. You know, it's okay for you to have money and to vote for a guy if he's on our team.
Well, they have all these commercials now. Obama has this commercial, and he's telling people, asking people to donate. Even if you can, donate $5. Say, I think the commercial. If you guys have seen it, type in the comment section. It's all over YouTube, and it says Trump's getting his donations from billionaires. Trump's relying on billionaires. Biden, Joe, and Kamala are relying on you, and he's asking for money, and that's all over. YouTube and everywhere else. So they're still sending the narrative. Republicans are rich, Democrats are for the poor. And if people would just do a little reading and a little research, the Democrats are not poor.
They're not.
And they're going to sit up here and tell all these things that they say, like you just said, and I mentioned it before too. But these people, they want to keep your kids in public schools. The Democrats are against vouchers. Newsflash. If you're in poverty and you're trapped in poor ghetto schools, you're not going to improve your lot in life. Their children are not in those schools. Their children are in private schools. So why are you listening to these people who don't even have their own children? Because now I'm in education and I support vouchers. And let's keep it real. The public schools, I've said this often, they've been failing for 50 years. They have a monopoly on the education of America's children. That's just what it is. And with the charter schools, and I hear people complaining, well, it takes money away from the public schools. I've even had students to come to me and say, because they wanted to graduate early, and they said guidance counselors would say, no, you need to come and take a few more courses. When a child leaves our school, that money leaves as well, those federal dollars. So you have people trying to keep them there, if that makes sense. And so that's a major reason why they don't want students going to charter schools or elsewhere. When that student leaves, that money leaves as well. And it's all about trying to keep the money at that school. And a lot of people who aren't in public education, that's all it's about, people. It's about money, just like everything else. And so what did Andrew said? James said, not familiar with him. Okay, so he was talking about someone else. HM made a good statement. I'm legal immigrant. Majority of us are sick and tired of sanctuary state. Illinois spent $1 billion for illegal immigrants, while a lot of veterans and citizens are sleeping on the streets. HM, I think this is your first time here. That's what we've been talking about for the past, I think, probably 8 months. The Democrats. So if you want to continue to receive nothing, then you know who to vote for. Democrats don't do anything for American citizens. And again, what did they do? They did something. They did the Asian crime hate bill or something like that, hate crime bill. But you don't see them in the Asian community garnering votes. Where are they trying to garner votes?
Yeah,
they're
and
in the Black community.
The hate crime bills,
they
do nothing. Yeah, that's just for show too.
And you don't get your vote, they're gone. It's all show. Dog and pony show. They come when it's time for votes. They show up. They'll come to your church, clap their hands and sing, smile. They're gone. You don't hear or see from them
Mm.
again until it's time for another vote.
Yeah.
Why aren't they in other communities? I don't see
Right.
them going anywhere but black communities.
Well, and
Wake up, people.
there are other places besides the black church where there are black people. Why don't you go to the basketball court? Why don't you go to the
Yeah.
park or to a recreation center? How about that? I guess they go to universities because the universities pay them 10, 15, $20,000 a speech. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
them come
And there
to
has so many gym
yeah,
plants there too. They go to the universities even when they're not wanted. They still go. But again, the puppets are in place. The plants are in place. The democratic shields are in place. So you mentioned about the church. We've already said, and you guys that were here yesterday, I did the video yesterday, the traditional black church, they've got the preacher in their hip pocket. The
yeah,
people listen to what the preacher tells them to do as it relates to voting. Elmo, if you didn't see the video, I shared it with you. I did yesterday. Check it out. This
yeah.
preacher talked, those of you who were here will attest to it. He talked about uh, social justice, victimhood. You know, they always talk about slavery. I mean, is this 2024 or 1864? So this is what they do every time when it's time to vote. This is what they're told to do. And I even had some people in the chat section yesterday that said they were going to report some of those churches because they're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
That's group thing. That's very cultish, cult-like. And so we know that's why they go to the church. Thank God. I said yesterday, a lot of the young people aren't in the church. So, and they're the ones leading the charge against the Democratic Party. The older generation, the World War II generation, the baby boomers, they're pretty much okay.
Well,
Generation
then,
X and under,
mhm.
they're the ones that are like, no, this isn't right. This isn't right.
Well, then,
And
what was that?
again, Elmo, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what was that university where Biden came to the graduation to speak, and it was a black college or black
Morehouse.
university, and many of the students they stood up in their cap and gown and turned their backs to him while they were speaking. So these are 21, 22-year-old
Uh,
black people.
yeah, yeah, and they don't want to hear the crap. Morehouse University is where he gave the speech. Remember, a lot of the
Mm,
students did not want him there.
right.
A lot of them now. My fault with some of these college students. They're upset with what's going on in Israel. My thing is
Yeah.
this: they're thousands of miles away. Hamas could give a care about you. You need to be
Yeah.
concerned with what's going on in America, not so much what's going on in Gaza, because again, those people don't care anything about you. Okay. Now we can talk about the money that's being sent. I think you said you wanted to say something about all the money that's being
Yeah.
sent to fund these wars. Um, and so you can take the table on that, Mr. Elmo.
So I believe in being informed about everything that's going on in our world. It's a small world,
Right.
definitely in our own country. America first. And anybody
Right.
who, if you say that you don't
Yep.
believe America first, name me any country, including an African country, that if the United States went to war with them, you would want the other country to win. If you want the
Right.
U.S. to win in a war, then you're America first. You just may not realize
That's
it.
right.
So, I
Yep.
mean, I have an opinion. I always hate any war. I'm taking Israel's
Yeah.
side in the war with Hamas because Israel are
That's
God's
right.
chosen
Me too.
people. I am a Christian, and I'm not ashamed or afraid to say
Facts.
that. I want Israel
Yep.
to win, and
Me
when
too.
Hamas surrenders, it'll be over. If they don't surrender, keep
Right.
beating them down and beating them back until they do, because
Right.
Israel was attacked. And I'm 55 years old now. I've never seen Israel attack anybody. I've only seen them retaliate. So
Right.
I don't have a problem with them. So what I was saying to you on a previous day, just the United States involvement in the Ukraine Russia war. Now, I don't think it's just a coincidence that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, brokered a deal between Joe Biden and the Ukraine government. Out of 220 or 200 something countries in the world, this is the same country that we have sent over 170 billion
Yeah.
dollars in money and weapons. So
Yep.
that's real suspect. But also, we shouldn't
Right.
be over there. We shouldn't be getting involved. I believe that the reason why we're funding them and basically fighting a proxy war is because the Democrats who don't understand military strategy and don't understand war, they're thinking we
Right.
can use this for political gain. Since they went to war, let's
Yep.
help them win, and then we can say that Joe Biden made the world safe for democracy. But you know
Right.
they're on a schedule. They got to hurry
Facts.
up and do it. We saw pulling out of Afghanistan for the 20th anniversary of 9/11. That was real important to do it at that time, no matter what, for the politics of how it looked. So that's
Right.
their goal, really. They think that they can. It doesn't matter. I want Ukraine to win because they were invaded, but they're not going to be able to overpower Russia. And if we stopped, and then Putin said
Tall
this
task.
when he was interviewed by Tucker Carlson, if we stopped giving them money, it would be over in a couple of weeks. So I think that's for the best. And I read last week that there have been over 500,000 people killed in that war already. And it's only been going two and a
Yeah.
half years
Yeah.
by over 500,000 people. So they can't win. They have a heart of gold, but it doesn't matter if it lasts another 3 months or 3 years. Ukraine can't win. And, I mean,
Right.
just how at the same time we're neglecting places like Maui with the worst wildfire in the history of America, where 100 people
Right.
died out there, and it took Biden 3 or 4 weeks to get out there just to check things out. And then, of course, we remember
Yeah.
what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, with the train with the chemicals that derailed and it got into their water supply. And Trump got out there before the Biden administration could,
Yeah.
right? They asked Pete Buttigieg when he was
Yeah.
going to be able to get over to Ohio, and he said soon. 2 days later, Trump showed up with his own brand of bottled water on a pallet 7 feet high. And then the day after that, then Buttigieg showed up. So we're neglecting
Wow.
our own. I mean,
Wow.
I'm talking about real things like affecting people's health, but that's what that's the
Right.
end
Right.
game for them is everything. What can we use in a headline or put on a sign or whatever and say that again, this utopian mindset of making the world safe for democracy. I thought that people didn't want America to be the world police. Team America,
Yeah.
World Police, whatever that puppet movie was. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So there's a list of like 20 or more countries that have been given Ukraine money, and America is number one with the most money out of any country. And I think China is number 20. You know, even though they're
Yeah.
communists, they gave
Right.
the
Oh
least
yeah. We
amount.
know that.
They gave a certain amount. So I just we need to
Okay.
stop helping them. And the bottom line, they're not a NATO country. So when they start trying to invade Germany, Italy, Spain, England, then and as long as Putin is there, he's never going to do that because he may be evil, but he's not stupid. He knows that it would be the
Okay.
beginning of World War
And
III to invade a NATO country or to go
oh God,
go to Western Europe.
leave that other countries alone. And I think some of you, I may have missed your comments. Where are we here? HM said instead of funding billions of dollars for endless war, these money should be spent for education and health care for people. We should stop funding endless wars. We don't even have decent roads. I think someone said earlier, I read a statement earlier also where they were talking about, was it education? The student loan debt.
Debt forgiveness.
And so I think someone said, I'm not a student, but I'm paying. Yeah, I was explaining that to someone who who's liberal, and I said, well, you know, people need to make better choices. And I tell students all the time that if your parents were unable to save money for you to attend college, this is the best avenue for you. Community college, and then if you still must, transfer to a 4-year university. The first 2 years of your college education is basic courses anyway. But you know, we as Americans want to sometimes go to the big name schools, and you
Mhm.
know, you don't have big name money, then you're in all this debt, then you're trying to get debt relief. And
Yeah.
so someone said something about that.
And that's what I
Okay, best,
did.
okay. So anyway,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
what do you think? So what are your predictions for the 2024 election? What do you think is going to happen? Because considering everything that we've been discussing and talking about, um, what do you think is going to? What are your predictions?
So I think that the Democrats are going to be in this fight to get Biden dethroned, so that there can be someone else in there, really someone else that would take over before,
Removed.
yeah,
Okay.
before the rest of his term is up. Either way, whether Biden would be able to stay in there or not, I believe that Trump is going to win. Is just by a
Okay.
matter of how much of a margin. So
Right.
I think it's too late in the game for the Democrats to put another person up there. And now the people that are going to vote blue, no matter who, for them it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the swing vote, because
Okay.
obviously some of the same people that voted for Obama voted for Trump. That's the only way
Oh
Trump
yeah.
would have been able to get in there. You know,
Right.
that's the only way, because
Right.
Obama, he won his elections by an overwhelming margin. So I think that Trump is gonna win. They're gonna keep coming at him, trying to get him tied up in the courts. They would have him locked up and wearing an orange jumpsuit if they could. Just again for the optics of
Oh
that,
wow.
but so that he could not preside in that office. But so
Right.
I think Trump is gonna win. We're familiar with Gavin Newsom. I think if you asked most people on the street who he is, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't be able to tell you unless they live out west. So it's very late in the game to
Okay.
try to introduce somebody new. And either way, I think Trump is going to win.
You think okay? What do you think about particularly Chicago? Yes or no? They're gonna flip it red.
You're talking about Chicago voting in the national election?
Yeah, so they keep
Yeah,
saying they're going to flip it red. And you've never
yeah.
seen that in your lifetime. What do you think is going to happen?
I think it will happen. I've seen so
Me
many
too. I
people
do.
protesting out on the streets of Chicago with the migrants coming in and being able to stay in hotels, and them giving money on, I think, every level, local, state, and federal. I mean, giving money and being take care of
Yep.
homeless people, migrants. And so I believe that people in Chicago, they see that there are different offices or different levels, but they're all part of the same party.
Do you feel
Lori
that this?
Lightfoot. No, go ahead.
Yeah, you feel that the migrant crisis is the driving force, especially in the sanctuary cities. If they flip red, do you think those are the driving forces?
I think that's one of the things. And another thing is the fact that Trump offered them the National Guard, and they wouldn't take it. Nancy
I
Pelosi
remember
said
that.
that she should have accepted the National Guard for January 6th, and there was rioting going on.
Yep.
Rioting going on in Chicago. People that live there, if there's anyone in the chat now from there, they know that the Magnificent Mile on Michigan Avenue was destroyed. Tens of millions of dollars in damage, and all that
Oh
the
yeah.
Democrats did was bailing people out of jail that were breaking the law from
Yeah.
rioting. It's
Who the
I
heck
mean, you
want
talk
to live
about
in a
you talk
liberty
about
city?
the real sellouts, the real turncoats
Right.
that well, I can't even say they wear the American flag or they got the red, white, and blue on and then turn it inside out. They don't even like red, white, and blue.
Right.
They like blue. That's it.
Yep. Blue, no matter who. They don't do the red, white. Don't add the red and white to it. All they want is blue for
But
that
you know what?
power.
So after Lincoln freed the slaves, because Lincoln was a Republican, and the Republican Party promoted themselves as the
Yep.
anti-slavery party, all of the slave owners and slave drivers voted
Right.
Democrat because why would they not? If slavery went away, it would mess with their money. So after
That's
Lincoln
right.
freed the slaves, black people that could vote were voting Republican for decades just off of that. They couldn't vote in the South, but in
Yeah.
the northern states, I'm sure that they were voting because there's nothing that the Democrats could have done to top that. So now blacks are just
Right.
returning back to the Republican Party.
Where they started.
I, if
Yep.
there's something you want to say right now, go ahead. Because there's one thing I want to say before I forget, so I can come after you.
Okay.
No, just that
Oh,
I, I've
uh,
I've been
go ahead.
debating. I've been debating different people about the different parties, about the two parties, and black people are still saying, "What have the Republicans done for us?" Meaning, what have they given us? They're not supposed to give you anything. If you really truly want equality and you want everybody to be looked at as people, as human beings, as Americans, then
Right.
why would you want the president of all these United States to raise up one group over another? Even if you're a part of that group, isn't that kind of selfish?
Right.
So how about we let people, the harder you work, the more you're rewarded. The more you're educated or qualified, the more you're rewarded. How about that? Instead of saying, what have they ever done to us or given us? It's a slave mentality because the slave master always provided
Is
food,
yeah.
clothing, and shelter for the slave. They always took care of them more than
Fact.
anybody else, more than
Fact.
anybody else. And they made the slave feel like they loved them. I care about you. That's how you get your slave to not
Right.
escape when you unclap the shackles. You make
Right.
them feel like
Right.
you care about them. This is why tens of
That's
thousands
right.
of slaves, after slavery ended, asked or begged their slave master if they could stay there and work for free. Now, you tell me that's not the Democrats' business model when you hold the two up side by side.
And it's exactly
I
it
know you
is the
know.
Democratic business model. Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's so they went from physical slavery to mental slavery is what happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's how you really get
because
people.
if you're right, and you're absolutely right, and that's what I've been saying. And there are a lot of channels I like on YouTube, and then when they start talking about, well, we're owed reparations and all this, and then people, sometimes I'll ask questions and I'll say, well, they want it from America. I'm like, well, you need to start in Africa. No, no, no. That's where it started. They sold after,
Mhm.
tribal war. They're the ones who sold their own people into slavery. Why are you only asking America for money? And every country, pretty much, just about, was involved in slavery. So everyone, at some point in times, every culture has been enslaved. And they say, well, the Jews have received this, and the Indians have received that. So it's that mentality um, where you're owed something. And if you sit around waiting for someone to give you something, that's time you're wasting. You could
Yeah.
be trying to get something for yourself, you see. But like I said, that's a mentality. Like I was just talking to someone recently about, you know, when school starts here in another, I don't know, month or two, month and a half, something like that. And they have these free giveaways for book bags and sneakers and clothing and all these school supplies. And I'm like, you see, as you watch the people who come to get the free items, they have kids with $1,000 phones and Jordans and
Yeah.
all these other things. But you have
Right.
the money, you just don't want to spend it on it. You want to get it for free,
Yeah,
right?
even in the hood, even
And
in the hood, isn't that something? In so-called
yeah,
poor neighborhoods, you see Jordans and iPhones.
right. And
Right.
I'm like,
It's having your
if
priorities out of order.
you have all this money, it's yeah, the priorities are out of order. You want to get free things, and you have all this expensive stuff over here. So no, it's not
Right.
right. But
Gimmyism.
what can I say? Uh, yeah, but this has been an excellent conversation. I didn't want to take all of your Sunday.
That's okay.
Oh, listen to what Louis Gold said. Buy what you want, beg for what you need. That's an excellent, excellent statement. Buy what you want and
Mm.
beg for what you need. Yes.
Yeah.
Douglas said, Elmo, the Constitution was an anti-slavery document. All right, Donald Vick, don't be surprised if all of a sudden Democrats want to give black people reparations. Donald, go back and check a video out that I did a few months ago. Now they're starting up all these reparations committees, smoke and mirrors. That no
Right.
one's paying you anything. Get out and
Right.
work hard, and you'll be fine. Um, don't be fooled. That's all it is. It's just another ruse. Um,
And
oh,
that would
Donald saying,
divide
black
people.
people, please don't fall banana in the tailpipe. Right. Cat mama. Don't mean to be rude,
Beverly Hills Cop.
but Cat mama said the 40 acres and a mule. That's what the ex-slaves were supposed to receive, Cat mama, but they never received it. Um, okay, so I know I missed some comments and statements. Douglas said, I grew up in the hood of Alameda, California, the projects. I'm doing okay today. Douglas, I think I read a statement earlier where you went to trade school. So I don't know if you're a plumber or an electrician, but you have some type of trade. Doesn't matter where you start. If you
Right.
work hard, and of course, that's not the Democratic mantra.
Right.
They make you a perpetual victim, and that victimhood mentality. I'll see you in 10, 15, 20 years, and you're still in the same place. You haven't progressed, and you're still talking about how horrible racism is keeping you down and all these other things, like the boogeyman, something you can't see. Jacqueline, now they want these illegals on the plantation. Yes, Jacqueline, that's why they're allowed giving all of these illegal immigrants all of the free shelter and money and food. And that's what
Buying
I tell
votes.
black people. If you
Yeah.
don't know, you've been replaced. Your
Buying votes.
job, yeah, they're buying votes.
This
So
is
why are you
why.
voting uh, for the Democratic Party?
This is why they don't
Right,
want people to be
Douglas? Douglas
required
said
to
the
show their
American Civil
ID. I'm
War
sorry.
reparation. Oh, I just wanted to tell you, Douglas
Yeah.
said, thank you, Donald. Love you too. I tried, Donald. Wasn't the American Civil War reparations? That's what Douglas said. What's your answer to that?
Wasn't the Civil War reparations? Well, the Civil War
Yeah.
was
He
fought
said,
to try
wasn't the
to
American
save the
Civil
Union. Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure I understand that, but the war spawned
War
out
right?
of
Oh, okay.
the South was trying to secede from the Union and to keep it together, which would
Right.
have made us weaker, would have
Yeah.
made us
Yeah.
like
Was
Pakistan and
trying to.
India.
Right. Okay. All right. So, lastly, um, what would you like to end on? What note would you like to end on? And we're definitely going to have you back on the show. Um, what are your thoughts overall? in reference to the subject matter that we discussed today. And I'm trying to check to make sure, see if we have any more questions for you in the chat section. And I'm going to let you go because I got to get ready for work tomorrow.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So it is just that have multiple news sources. And if you do that, you'll find a difference. You'll find that some are editing or talking about an aspect of the story that you didn't know. And one of my jobs is being a media analyst, where I read articles or watch videos that are on the left, the right, and the center. And so you really want from all sides so that you can see what the commonality is, see where the overlap is. And that's usually where the truth is. Think for yourself. Don't ever let anybody shame you into thinking that you have to vote a certain way or think a certain way. God made each of us individually, not as a group. You have a purpose. You have an individual purpose. Everyone's DNA is unique. And so however you want to vote, that's fine. You should know why you're voting, and it should be about the candidate even more than the party. I mean, the party, the Democrat Party is we'll talk about that another time. Just the shady stuff they did with Bernie Sanders, kicking him out, and they're just they were really shady.
And that's the part that people wanted him, but they said no. Queen Hillary.
Yeah, Sanders, he won like 9 out of 10 primaries that he went to. He should have got the nomination, but you can't control him, and he's not a puppet, so they didn't like that. So that, and just so be informed and get involved and vote. Again, you need to know yourself why you feel the way that you do. What you think is important. Don't let anybody try to silence you. Dialogue is good. That's how ideas start. They get out and they spread, and the people that want to silence and censor, they're afraid of ideas. And listen, our roots, many of our roots trace back to Africa. This is where we live. We are American. We've been here for hundreds of years. Most of our families before there was an America. So this is our home. I care about what happens here, and just pay attention. Pay attention to these people that want to divide and identify people by these different groups, because you are human. You are human, number one.
Excellent point, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. I care about what happens here first, because obviously this is where I'm living. So
right.
Some of the statements that you just made, if you're attending a traditional Black church where they are into groupthink, run, don't walk away. Elmo, you're gonna have to watch the video I did on Saturday. And I played a clip of the video as well. And he said nothing about God, Jesus. Everything was about politics. So social justice, victimhood, it's awful. If I'm in your church, you're supposed to be helping me on my spiritual journey, not telling me which party to vote for. Right. But for the traditional Black church, that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Douglas said, "I'm just an American. Beware of false teachers." Douglas, we have more false teachers than we actually have ministers and pastors these days. You're absolutely right. Elmo, here's a good question for you by Douglas. Do you think MLK Jr. would support reparations if he was alive today? That's an excellent question. Do you think Martin Luther King Jr. would he have supported reparations if he were alive today?
No. And the reason I say that is because he lived and led and did what he did after slavery. I never heard him bring it up. He was talking about equal rights for people. just basic
Right.
basic human stuff.
Oh yeah.
You all may remember Obama saying that Martin Luther King died so that he could become president. That's not true.
That's what he said.
King wasn't about furthering black people in politics. He was about of the average everyday citizen being able to get rights.
Trying to make their lives better. Right. Just basic human rights and just being
Right.
receiving a fair shot. He wasn't asking
Right.
for reparations. Um,
And even
and
though, even
Douglas, he
though
said he agrees with you. Yeah.
no, I was just going to say, even though Martin Luther King was a preacher before he became this civil rights leader, he was also an educated person. He believed in hard work and education, and we call him
Right.
Dr. Martin Luther King because he had a doctorate. So you got bachelor,
Mhm.
master's, and then doctorate. So
Right.
he worked hard so that if he wanted to go work here or there, he had all of these skills that he could do to provide for his family. So he
Yeah.
could have done a lot of stuff. He just pushed that to the side and kind of
So
made himself a leader to spearhead that movement.
yeah, he was, and that's why basically he just wanted basic human rights. That's one thing about Dr. King. Uh, he was never asking, put something in my hand.
Right.
He just wanted basic human rights. Jasmine's way. He was young, maybe in his later 50 plus years, he would have agreed with reparations. Just saying, okay, that's from Jasmine's way. Right
Right.
Solutions, how are you? Says, I'm from Chicago. The people that are pushing that are playing both sides. Most are grifters. Okay, Right Solutions. HM, seems we're heading to the fight between political careers versus everyday working class. And again, HM, and I try to stress here on this channel, we all have to realize that we all have to come together and realize we have one common enemy. That's the Democratic Party. They're not doing any of us any favors. It doesn't matter what race, what the color of your skin is. They're not doing us any favors. And that's why I stress on this, channel, we better come together so we can take them out together. Douglas said amen to that. Yeah, Douglas, you've been here before. That's what I've been saying. We have one common enemy. Don't let the Democratic Party keep us divided. Well, I'm white, I'm going to be over here. I'm Hispanic, I'm going to be over here. I'm black, I'm going to be here. So we're all divided. And they're over here doing all their evil work. If we're all divided, we can't come up as a united front against that. We have one common enemy, and the sooner people realize that, the better off we'll be. Um,
Think about the
will you
fact.
be
Think
at
about the
the
fact.
Right
I'm sorry.
Solutions? I'm not sure. Huh? What'd you
No, I was
say?
going to say. I was going to say. Think about the
I didn't.
fact that Biden never said to white Democrat voters or to any other race, if you got to think about who to vote for, you're not white or you're not Hispanic or you're not some other race. Like they expect that from
Yeah,
black people.
right.
But go ahead. You
And
you were in the
what
middle of
happened
reading
to?
comments.
I thought it was a free country. I thought it was a free
Right.
country, but he makes that statement. But since he's a Democrat, it's okay. No, it's not okay with me. And I told you I don't do the double standards. Everything he says, it's okay because he's a Democrat. No,
Right.
no. Right Solutions. I'm not sure. Right Solutions. I have to check my calendar. Uh, right Solution was asking if I was going to be at the Republican National Convention. I need to check the dates and times and things of that nature. If not, I'll be streaming live.
What
Right
city is it
Solution.
in?
Those of you who are here, please go ahead.
What
Where
city
is
is
it
the
being held this
event?
year? I've forgotten. Um, because I know the Democratic National Convention is in Chicago. Because I think they're going to have a mess. They're talking about they may have to move it because those people are going to be out there protesting, which is
Yeah.
good. I love it. Right Solutions. Tell me where it's going to be located. It's in Milwaukee. I don't know. Right Solutions because school starts, and I generally don't take time off when once school starts. I do
Oh,
have
that's where the
courses that are state
Republican
tested, so
convention is going to be.
probably yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Oh, Douglas, thank you, dear. July 15th through the 18th. Right Solutions, I can go ahead and tell you, I know I won't be there. I will be at a teachers conference in Winston-Salem, North Carolina that entire week. It's already paid for. A hotel room, everything's already paid for. I can't get my money back. It's a teachers conference I go to every year. CTE, Career and Technical Education Teacher Summer Conference that I have to go to. I get credits there, CEUs, and like I said, the county's already paid my registration fee in the hotel room. I can't be reimbursed, so I have to go. But I can stream live. I can do that. Yes, Right Solutions, please send me an email. Any of you who are interested in coming on the show, please. LSIBERT@ymail.com. That's lowercase l, lowercase s, IBERT, all lowercase, and then lowercase y.com. That is a Yahoo email. But I couldn't do LSIBERT@yahoo.com. It was already taken. Okay? All right, I'm going to let everyone go. I will continue to answer your comments in the comments section once I end the live. Mr. Elmo, I'm so glad that right. Just stick around. I'm going to share the hashtags that you need to you start using. All right, Douglas, thank you so much here. James. Oh, James wants me to sing. Okay, what can I sing? What can I sing? I gotta sing a quick song. James gets upset when I don't sing. Okay, how about Billy Joel? Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. All right, I thought about that song after the debate, and everyone, when the Democrats were going into panic mode after that poor debate performance. So, yeah, I love Billy Joel. Yes, Douglas, I was actually living in Allentown, Pennsylvania when he made the song. Well, we're living here in Allentown. Mm-hmm. And I'm not quitting my day job, HM, don't worry. I love Billy Joel. Everybody's talking about the news sound funny, but it's still rock and roll to me. And you guys already know who my favorite rock group is. You see this hat? You see that tongue? You know whose trademark that is, the Stones. Jasmine says, can I ask an honest question? Motown. Yes, Douglas, I'll sing you some Motown next live. Just make sure you remind me. I'm from Chicago. I don't want to vote for anyone running. The economy is a mess, but my loans were forgiven. I don't trust Trump, or I've been brainwashed. Elmo, can you answer that question before we leave?
What? So she's asking if she's been brainwashed.
Yeah,
I heard you say she doesn't trust Trump.
Yeah. She said that she's from Chicago. She doesn't want to vote for anyone. The economy is a mess, but my loans were forgiven. I just don't trust Trump, or I've been brainwashed. Couch 2024 for you, Jasmine. That's what a lot of people are doing. There's actually 3 weeks. Douglas, let me know how that is.
There's actually about 7 different parties with people that you can vote for. So if you don't like the 2 main candidates, keep looking. You also have the option of not voting at all. There are people who feel like they benefited from whoever may have been president. I would say compare your life, because Biden has been in there 3.5 years. Compare that to when Trump was in office. When Trump was in office, 2017, 18, 19, 3 of the best years economically of my life. Everybody I knew that wanted to have 2 jobs had 2 jobs. The only president, Roland, can you name another president who didn't get us involved in any wars? Because I can't think of one over the last 50 years. Trump doesn't want us involved in wars. That puts our military at risk. It costs a hell of a lot of money. And he said, we're not attacking anybody. If they attack us, we're going to go after their president. We're going to send in SEAL Team 6 and take out their leader, whether it's a terrorist group like Hamas or it's a country. It sounds like a good plan. Keep deaths to the minimum and not
Right.
send in an entire, uh, army regiment or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the
That's
things
an
for me,
excellent
the things that
question.
I've looked at.
Right.
Yeah.
And policy. Excellent commentary, Elmo. Jasmine, look at what both, well, there are other candidates, but look at what, the policies that, they stand for. We've talked about, Jasmine, I think this is your first time on this channel. That's an excellent question because there are some people in a catch-22 who did benefit and but they don't know who to vote for. Jasmine said, thank you, Roland. Tell your guests my 14-year-old took me to look at the other parties. I guess she's pretty smart. Yeah, the younger people in lots of ways are smarter than we are. Thank you both. I appreciate you both and how you welcome all thoughts and questions. Yes, Jasmine's way. Here on this channel, everyone is allowed to their own opinion. And I don't say vote for Republicans only. You have to look at their policies and decide which most align with you. And then that's how you vote. Now, Jasmine, I think this is your first time here. A lot of people, particularly Black Americans, are saying they're going to vote for Trump or they're going to vote the couch 2024. So at least you're thinking about that. Let's all give Jasmine, I'm going to send her some hearts in the comment section because she's legitimately trying to figure out who she should vote for. And we should be there to support her. Mr. Fizz, don't be fooled by the dangling carrots. Look at facts. Mr. Fizz, what have we been saying on this channel forever? Policy, policy, policy. Jasmine, you're fine, dear. Jasmine, I want you to send me an email. I love that question. That is very legitimate. Jasmine, I definitely want you to send me an email. I'm going to share it again here in the comment section. Oh my God, I'm thinking now. Oh wow. I've been here, just never commented. Jasmine's way. I'm so glad that you did. Send me an email, please, Jasmine. Oh yeah, thank you. All right, I'm gonna let Mr. Elmo go. Jasmine and anyone else who has comments, I'm gonna, once I end the live, I will continue conversing with you in the comment section. I've enjoyed you all. Thank you for spending your very valuable time here at the Roland's Reviews YouTube channel. And Mr. Elmo, I'll talk to you momentarily. Thank you, Jasmine. I'm waiting for your email, dear. Bye, Jasmine. It's C. Fryer, right? I'm going to start answering your emails.
Come over to Brutally
in a few
Honest and check
days.
us out.
Yeah, check out Mr. Elmo, Brutally Honest Talk Radio.
Brutally
He's
Honest
on
Talk
YouTube.
Radio. Yes.
Yes.
YouTube.
Thank you so much, HM.